Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in the big world, and welcome to this weekly Lyceum here at Poole Christian Spiritualist Church. In the absence of Lawrence, I'll be your host this evening. And I'm Jack Eckhart from Denmark, but a bit involved with Poole Church as well. With me tonight, I have the lovely Minister Nicola Shortland-Neal. And we will talk a little bit about the ministry and her journey into becoming a minister, and what does that mean, and what's the opportunities in it, and if you could be interested to take a similar journey, you can put your questions and answers in the comments, or put your questions in the comments, and Nicola or myself will probably be able to answer them. So please interact with us and just put your comments and questions in. So, Nicola, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Jack. And it's an absolute pleasure to be here. And thank you for inviting me.
It's truly our pleasure here. So, Nicola, you have just achieved your recognition as a minister earlier
That's
this
correct.
week. So it's quite new to you.
It's very new. In fact, it's barely 72 hours old, and the ink has only just dried on my certificate. I had my last I gave my last PowerPoint presentation Wednesday morning, just gone, and told that I'd passed, everything was fine. Received my initial certification from the PsycheCenter.com, which is whom I did the qualification through, and I'm yet to receive my recognition and my certificate from Focus Awards, who are the awarding body that the PsycheCenter.com use, and Focus Awards are an Ofqual registered, recognised awarding body. So it's all very top shelf and all very proper and correct. So yes.
And how marvelous is that? So just for those that might not been aware of, what does it mean to be a minister? I know we have not only viewers from the UK, but we have probably from other parts of Europe as well. So what does it mean to be a minister?
Oh, that's a very big question, Jack. What does it mean to be a minister? So from my perspective, which is all I can really speak from, within the services that I can now provide, I can now do weddings, take funeral services, friendship blessings, ring blessings, baby namings, and I've chosen within all of that to focus my energies and my being of service within funerals. That's what I've chosen to concentrate on, because I've seen some fabulous ministers taking services in the remembrance and celebration of life, and I've seen some absolutely awful ones whereby they've got all the details incorrect of the person whose life's been celebrated, and I feel that and believe wholeheartedly that last moment, that service, is something that people will remember for the rest of their lives. So you've got to get it right. You've got to put the emotion into it. You've got to get the facts correct, possibly inject a little bit of humour. Be very tactful and caring about how you present things and word things, and of course make sure that the family sign off on what you've written. You see, to make sure that that's that they are happy with you calling Uncle William a bit of a cheeky what's it, or however, you know, whatever comes out within the interviews with the family and the friends, and to get an overall rounded aspect of that person's personality, of their likes, their dislikes, their achievements, their life. Personality, I've probably said that twice, possibly 3 times, but everything that they loved, everything that made thank you, everything that made them who they are. And it's something that, the way I see it, is getting married is a choice.
Yes.
And the expiration of our physical bodies, because we can't die for the life of us as mediums, we know and understand that. But it's something that is going to come to us all. And in some ways, I believe that is more for a cause of celebration of that birth. What is a death in the physical world is a rebirth to the spirit world. And I believe that transition is something to be honoured. It's something to be revered. And it should be approached with absolute reverence, not only for the person whose life's being celebrated, but also for the family as well. So that's really what it means to me, is bringing the essence of the person forward. Because within, say, a wedding, there's a lot of legalities that need to be adhered to in relation to wording to make it legally a legal ceremony. You get one word wrong and it's completely incorrect. Whereas there isn't that within funerals. The only legality is the fact that a funeral director or an undertaker has to, you know, the body has to be disposed upon in a legal fashion. Everything else, there's complete freedom with what you want to do. And I quite like that aspect, to be honest with you. I like that, the thought of being able to do, as long as it's moral, as long as it's legal, and it causes no other person any injury, mental or physical or emotional. The way I see it is that you can have whatever you like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's really what it means to me.
Yeah. So lovely, and I can see a few people saying good evening here. So good evening out there, everybody. And again, as we said a little while ago, if you have any questions or comments, just put them in the chat, and we will answer as far as possible. But Nicola, I know we had a short chat before the live here, and I asked you how long time did it take to become a minister. And you talked about that part was about 6 months. But I know before that, there has been a time of education as well.
Yes. So the study itself took me around 6 months in amongst everything else that I'm doing business-wise and personally as well. And that's one of the great things about online learning. There's a flexibility associated, but you do have a maximum timescale between when you register for the course and for completion. So it's a 6-month window. And so it took me 6 months. There were 7 written assignments and 7 PowerPoint presentations. And now the PowerPoint presentations can be made directly to the tutor, or they can be made to a classroom, but then recorded and sent in for marking and assessing. And ironically, because I geared all of my answers surrounding, bar one, actually, I believe it was question 3 about composing a ceremony. I thought, well, I'll have to do a wedding one, because just in case I get asked to do a wedding, although it isn't, as I said, what I wish to focus upon, but if I'm asked to do it and it means a lot to somebody to have me to do it, then I would gladly do it. And it was the only one that I had to do 3 times. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It's the only assignment out of all of them that I had to redress because I didn't get quite the legal wording. So maybe it's probably best that people seek out the services of somebody else, just in case I mess it up and they and their marriage turns out to be not legally binding. So it took me 6 months to say 7 written assignments, 7 PowerPoint presentations. And I must admit, at the beginning, I just created a template and just rewrote everything. But I think it got to about assignment 4 or 5 when my tutor Martin says, like, come on, you can do better than this. I'd like to see different backgrounds now, because I like templates. I believe in working smarter over harder. But I can understand it can be a bit boring for those watching. And it shows that I'm capable of something other than what I was producing. So yes, and I mean, people can do it as quickly or as slowly as they wish to, of course, depending on their schedules. But it took me 6 months.
Cool. And before you start these 6 months, what have you done there to get to that stage? It's at level 4, and there's some levels before that you have to achieve before you start there.
Yes, of course. So there are 3. There's level 2, level 3, and level 4 within the Psyche Centre. And as I understand it, you've got to have level 3 religious and life philosophy before you can do the level 4 ministry, because it is all multi-layered in accordance to the levels of education and qualification. So I have got that via recognised prior learning through doing philosophy and addresses within services. So that was recognised and RPL'd as recognised prior learning. And so yes, what I understand is level 3 before level 4, which, if you consider it, does make sense. But I do suggest that if anybody is interested in exploring this and asking that question, I do suggest going to the horse's mouth, just in case I've got it a little bit incorrect. And those links I have popped in the chat. I'm hoping it's in the everybody can see them, but I might have put it in the private chat. In which case, I'll pop it in the others.
Well, I'll see here. They're coming here.
Yeah, unless, I mean, if it has, then maybe that's something that you could share afterwards, Jack. It's all there, my lovely.
Yes. So the link to the Psychic Center has come up in the chat now.
Thank you.
If anybody could be interested in these kind of education with the Psychic Center, not only to become a minister, but they have. I know there's different courses there and I can't say it. Different courses to take, different things to achieve.
Qualifications. There you go, Jack.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Your English is far better than my Dutch, I have to say.
So yes. So and Nicola, and now you have become a minister.
Yes.
So I know that's an independent thing. You're not. It's an achievement you have made that is yours for life.
That's correct. It's a qualification. As previously mentioned, the awarding body is Focus Awards, who are Ofqual recognised and registered. So that is mine for life. It doesn't matter which association I join. It doesn't matter whether I don't join an association. I don't have to be a member of anything in which to retain this. It's mine. It is a qualification. It's no different to going to Harvard in America, or Oxford or Cambridge University, or even a local college, and doing a degree or a certificate or anything like that. You see, when you do go down that route as well within the tertiary education system, what you have at the end of it is yours for life, and you can take that anywhere. It's the achievement of your mind and your heart and your soul. And that's exactly the same with this. I am completely unencumbered by obligation to any in particular group, association, or anything. So basically,
so basically it means you can serve any church, no matter what the church belongs to.
Absolutely. I'm non-denominational spiritual minister. So the services that I can put together can be spiritual, they can be religious, or they can have just completely humanist. I would tailor a service to meet the family's requirements, the last wishes of the deceased. I like to feel free in what I do.
Yes.
I've never been very good at doing as I'm told, and at 53 I don't plan to start now.
But that's lovely. But I know you are a member of an association as well.
I am, absolutely. So the Association of Independent Spiritual Ministers, their link is also within what I've sent to you as well in the chatty box area. And the Association of Independent Spiritualist Ministers, we have a list of all those that have passed, or that are ministers. So if you go and visit the page, you've got the about, you've got official services, religious services, membership area, and the AISM is actually a branch of Fox Pioneer Centre Spiritual Community. It is a part of us as well, you see. So that is all there. I look along the top, and then you say you've got the official services, religious services, membership. Everything is there for people's curiosity and exploration. So, but say the AISM are the ministers that have done this particular qualification. So, yeah.
Yes. Lovely. So, and Nicola, I know that you, beside from being a minister that's quite new to you, you have been working with your mediumship for many years as well.
Yeah, I have.
And while you were talking about what it is to be a minister, some of the ceremonies and things, everything has to be in order and right and things like that, I thought, that sounds a little bit like when we're doing mediumship as well. We need to put these things right in place. We need to do a proper presentation of the soul we are becoming a voice for. So I think there's quite a bit of mediumship in it as well when you look at it from a spiritual point of view.
Absolutely, and I love the way how you're making that connection between the service in the physical world and connecting with the communicator when we're working with a client. And it is very similar in that regard. There is a medium, I suppose there can be mediumship involved when you're constructing the service, because many times the person that's passed will have their wishes, but also being a medium, the deceased, the person passed over, however you would like to term it, the person that's died, although we know that it's only physical death, not the spiritual or the consciousness, death of consciousness. We know that is eternal, as we believe that as spiritualists or mediums, whichever way, whichever palm you'd like to look at. And that's not literally, but you understand what I mean. Whichever aspect you want to view it from. And so, yes, I mean, there may well be occasions where the loved one will come forward and blend with me as a communicator, saying, "Well, they want this, but that's not actually what I wanted." And so there is that aspect as well. But I do like how you've connected the two. So yes, so I would say there is a definite amount of mediumship involved. Definitely.
Yeah. And I was just came to my mind, and my own experience. Sadly, I have been to many funerals in my life as well. As you're saying, often the one that has passed is present as within the funeral when we're talking about funerals. But I know from I've been in a dialogue with different priests from the Church of Denmark in a good dialogue, and they have been talking about their experience of that presence when they're doing a Christian funeral service, and even though that within that environment isn't allowed for them to talk about out loud, they do admit that what we are doing within the spiritual movement make so much sense to them because they have some of those experiences themselves.
Absolutely, and I would suggest that maybe it's the term, sometimes possibly the terminology as well. I mean, they have the Holy Ghost and the Holy Spirit, and I feel that maybe that is the same thing. And please forgive me if I don't wish to step on anyone's toes or upset anybody here. In my mind, in my belief, and what it feels right to me, is that it's the same. It's different terminology, but referring to the same thing.
Yeah.
And within a service, I feel that the emotional and spiritual feeling within the service can only help but be bolstered and intensified by the quality of the ceremony itself that the registrar or the minister delivers. Because if the minister and the celebrant bring their own love and emotion into, and the reverence for the process, for what has happened, for the family, for the deceased, God, if that terminology is applicable, and for the spirit world especially, once that is brought in, I feel that is only, it is tangible. It is like when we go to a demonstration, either within a church or a church hall. If the reverence and the love is present, it can be felt by everybody.
Yeah.
And that is what I intend to bring to every service that I undertake.
Mm. Yes. That's I think that's just it's so true that the minister, the priest, the vicar, whatever name we put on it, have such an important role in that can I say last minute of our physical life, as it is when we're coming to that state.
Absolutely.
But also things worth to mention. It's not necessarily a sad day. It can be it's a day of celebration of life as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's I long gone. I mean, and I'm sure that in certain religions and faiths and belief systems, the traditional wearing of black and the mourning period and all of this is still very prevalent. But I would suggest that the days of that every single time are very quickly leaving us. I mean, now you have ceremonies where there's no flowers, that, you know, they prefer donations to charity. There are services that that request people just to wear bright colours upon the wish of the family and the person and the deceased. And also, you don't even have to have a ceremony now. You don't even have to do that, as long as the body is disposed of in a legal way, be that burial, be that cremation, or by other means. As long as the body, the physical form, is disposed of in that respect legally, you can do whatever you like. So, you know, as long as it's legal, you fly the ashes out of a plane, you can pop them in the sea, and you can do all these manner of things. And yes, I feel it's a creative service, only limited by people's families' imaginations. And as you say, the minister really does have an important role within this. Because when they bring their caring, loving strength to the situation, it helps the family feel safe within sharing things, and trust and integrity that's so important within this. So, yes, I've probably rambled on a little bit and possibly gone off at a tangent slightly, so please forgive me. I do have a habit of doing that.
Not a problem. So, yes. So, and I think it's really interesting, Nicola. But I know, Nicola, that you are working a little bit with inspiration and philosophy and these things as well. You're even writing a few poems yourself. I know.
I do. I've always written poetry, even as a child, around between the ages of about, I don't know, 6 onwards. I've always written poetry. I was a very early reader, very early writer, and I've always loved writing and reading. I'm better with the written word than I am the spoken word, to be honest with you. But every Monday, our Marvellous Mondays online divine service. So sorry, Jack, sneaky little plug there. I write the reading for every single week, depending on what my inspirers wish to address or speak through me. So I do write those, and I've got a very thick file because I always print them out. I'm quite old school. I like to have tangibility. I'm the same with my books, actually.
I'm in the same club.
People, you know, and if it's horses for courses, it's what's right for the person. I like paper in my hand. I've tried it on the screen, and I just get flustered, zipping around. I've got 3 screens in front of me, and I just get. I've tried it that way, and it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't cement in. I like to have it in my hand and read it from there. So I have got a folder of every single reading I've written over since we started in 2020. So I've got 4 years worth of readings typed out, and my husband says, you've got to get those published. And I'm like, oh, shut. All right, then. If you insist. But it's one of those get round to it things, isn't it? So, yeah, I do. Yeah. So yes, again, the long answer to the short question, I do write, and I do write quite a lot. I've got a number of books partially written on my computer. One's a autobiography, one is a children's book, one is a spiritual book, and yeah, so they're all there in varying degrees of completion. One day I'll finish them.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess that's quite helpful for you when becoming a minister as well, but also when you in general are doing services around. But and I know for sure that we will have you on here at Pool tomorrow evening as well.
That's correct. I'm doing the philosophy for you tomorrow, so I'll write a reading and then do the philosophy from that. Or if somebody else is doing a reading, then I'll do the philosophy from that instead. But yes, I'm doing the philosophy, so I've got a little bit more online stage time, so to speak.
Yes. No, so we will have the opportunity tomorrow to have the joy of one of your readings, one of your small poems. And
oh, bless you, thank you. Yes, no pressure.
No, everybody knows. No, everybody knows. So they will all be there tomorrow. So, yeah. So Nicola, is there anything you have in mind you would like to add into this little talk? It can be outside of the ministry as well.
I don't know, to be honest. Only that I've thoroughly enjoyed the journey, and this is the beginning of my 5-year educational plan. From this, I'm going to be doing my level 3 practical in assessing. And then after that, it's my intention to train as a soul midwife so that I can offer the practical support to families, be there with the person within the last stages of their life, be the advocate between the family and the person that is passing over, and whether it's a care home, whether it's a hospital, maybe even the funeral directors. And then also within that, once that has gone, have that entire follow-on continuity to then take the service as well. So that is my plan. That's my 5-year plan. And then after that, and after Fox Pioneer Centre Spiritual Community become a training platform for the Psyche Centre courses as well. So I'll be doing teaching, assessing, mediumship, and my ministerial work. Then I'll figure out what's after that, because I love learning. And I have to say, I felt a hole since I completed Wednesday morning. I felt a little bit discombobulated because I've come home, thought, oh, I've got to study. Oh, wait, hang on. No, I finished. Oh, I felt a little bit out of sorts because it's not there anymore. No. So yeah, I like to be constantly learning and growing, because I've never been one to sit on my laurels, and because I feel that can be, being comfortable is paralyzing, because then you don't feel like doing anything, and there's no growth in comfortability. And I believe that that's within any area of life, whether it's mediumship development, tertiary qualifications, life, movement, relationships, whatever it is, you got to keep moving forward.
Yeah. And that's actually talking into a subject that often has been in debate on some of these lyceums and in many other places about, and I can understand you have this eager to continue educate yourself within spiritual things, within your mediumship, within everything. And I think that's important with the continuous education, because often I meet mediums that is like, well, I've taken my training, I'm getting the job, I'm there, I'm just doing the job now.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think we have to remind ourselves that that's not only become a medium, but being a medium in whatever aspect, it's a lifelong journey, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the way that the spirit world, our inspirers, our team, our guides, whatever terminology you wish to use, are our ancestors, how they wish to use us has to change.
Yes.
And how they use us has to change, because they are expanding within their ability to connect and to blend and attune with us, just as much as we are with them. But also, as we progress within our life and change, it stands to reason, and to my mind it's intelligent to come to the conclusion that the way your mediumship is going to change, and how they wish to utilize you as their instrument is going to change, you see, because your tune and your tuning is going to be different. So the music you play is going to be different.
Yeah.
It stands to reason. And I've always been the kind of person, I get bored quite easily and quite quickly. So I like to have a number of projects on the go, because if I get bored with doing one, I'll go to do something else, and because that's how my mind works. And within every aspect of our lives, as I said, I feel it's important to continually progress. I mean, isn't it the fifth principle, continuous progression of the human soul? I believe that's the fifth one. Please forgive me if I've got that a little bit wrong.
It's the sixth, but never mind.
The sixth. Hey, I'm one number out. Come on.
I know the fifth is personal responsibility.
Okay. Well, personal responsibility. You're personally responsible for your continuous progress. There you go.
Yes, definitely.
But yes, so I believe that life on both sides of the veil isn't designed to be lived and to be experienced within the one place, within the one vibration, and change is the only thing that's constant. And I believe that that's in the physical and the non-physical world.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do agree with you. And we are talking about the continuous just missing words here.
Existence
of the human soul, and I think that progression that is going on not only here in the physical life, but in life of spirit as well. And I'm a great believer that comes in also when we're talking about being a minister, being a medium, or just being a human being, for that sake, becoming aware of that essence of ourself, that is in a need of this progression, about this eager of new knowledge and things. But sometimes our mind, our ego, whatever, how we want to phrase it, comes in and tells us that, oh, I'm doing good now, I don't need to learn anymore, I can just sit back and because and sometimes I think I've been there myself, becoming a bit lazy.
Yeah.
in all respect, and leading a little bit back. Oh, it goes well now. My mediumship is in a good place, and my life is in a good place. And suddenly wake up and say, "Oh, something is not working here. What is wrong? What is wrong?" And realizing, because I need to do something new.
Yeah.
I need to take something new into my life. I maybe even have to take something out of my life, and with that, in and out of my mediumship as well. So, and just my thoughts here, but being a medium, being a minister, whatever role we have in the spiritual movement, I believe if we are aware of all these things that we can take in, but also the things we can take out, that will strengthen our development and things like that. Because sometimes I think it's not only enough to take something in. Sometimes we need to take something out. Bad habits, for example.
Absolutely. And I suppose you can liken that to the analogy of baking a cake, can't you? In order for it to taste better, you have to experiment with the ingredients to get it just how you want it. But then you can also decorate the cake and ice the cake and change the cake and do all of these things in order to improve it. Because there is always room for improvement. And I suppose I'm a person who's never satisfied. I'm always looking for improvement. I'm always saying to my team, okay, that was good, but help me serve you better. What can I do to serve you better? And it may be, because I believe in the holistic approach to mediumship development. And I also believe that as we work with spirit, there are maybe habits within our physical lives and lifestyles that no longer serve us. They no longer fit with our vibration, whether that is diet, whether that is gluten or meat or fish or alcohol, cigarettes, sugar, whatever it is. I believe that as we progress, our lifestyle can change to support the increased vibration of our own soul.
Yeah.
And it may be very subtle. And I believe that we can cause ourselves pain by hanging on to these things, regardless and religiously, because we've always done it, despite the little nudges and the inspiration. It's like, well, actually, these aren't your people now. These are your people. But you keep yourself in that place, and you can become your own worst enemy, if I can put it in that way. And so, so I believe in the holistic approach and approaching mediumship development within our physical world, whether that's making peace with those that we have had a difficult relationship with, whether it is, as I say, changing diet, environment, whatever it is, because when we do make changes in our physical world, then it means that the changes within our own body and with our intention with spirit can only progress as well. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So that's what I believe, and that's what I teach as well with my students. I believe in that holistical approach and changing all aspects of life, not just sitting in your own power and sitting with for the purposes of attunement and communication.
Yeah.
You see. So there you go.
But I can only agree with you, Nicola. It's I like that approach to it, because it's to me that has always been important to have a little bit wider aspect on things in it, even though I can sometimes be very narrow-minded myself. I think there will be people that will agree with me in that. But I try to like broaden my view.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be open, and also be open to new things that is, can I say, outside of my own understanding.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I teach within because I have a closed circle on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month through Fox Pioneer Centre. Sorry, Jack, another sneaky plug there. I teach, if you want to expand your horizons and with different people, different cultures, just read about people, read autobiographies, biographies, watch things, expose your mind to new, what I call points of reference, because it adds to the reference library within your mind that then becomes present for the communicator to use. If you live in a place whereby there is minimal opportunity for mediumship development, that is one thing that is open to everybody.
Yeah.
If you are a medium that only connects with mums or people that have lost mums, that's all you're going to perceive within the spirit world, because that is the commonality between you as a medium and the communicator. If you consider, if you're in a room and you're in a party, you're going to naturally gravitate and strike up a conversation and a connection and a communication with somebody you've got things in common with.
Yeah.
So within my mind, how is that any different to connecting with someone's loved one, with a communicator? There's either going to be a lifestyle similarity, there's going to be a personality similarity, an experience similarity, and I would suggest even more fine-tuning. The intelligence of spirit are going to choose you as the medium for that reuniting experience, based on what it is, what aspect that they wish to connect, the level they wish to connect on, be it emotionally, be it relatively, be it in any way, you see. So I would suggest that the intelligence of spirit is absolutely mind-blowing, and it seriously just blows my mind every time.
Yeah, I'm usually phrased the way that communicating with spirit, that kind of, we are using our memory bank.
Yeah.
Whatever is in our memory bank is easy to bring forward, because we can recognize that energy within something that is in our memory bank there. I have experienced, though, that over years with training and education, we actually can start working outside our own memory bank. Like when we are on the computer, we have what we have stored on the computer, and then we can go online, we go on the internet and find new information. I think sometimes that happens when we're working with the mediumship, especially when we become more trained with it. That's, I think, especially myself, sometimes things comes in where I just think, oh, this is interesting. I don't have a clue about what I'm talking about here, but I'm just saying it here, and hopefully it will make sense to somebody else, because it's kind of. I remember in my early days within the mediumship, I had often young men that have passed on motorbikes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of my past.
So
when I had a motorbike, what brand is it? What color is it? What size is it? All these details was easy to grab.
Yeah.
Because it is in my knowledge, it is within in my memory bank. But working with someone that is repair sewing machines, I'm a bit lost in the details,
Yeah.
I can talk about a sewing machine. I know what that is, but that's basically it.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't mean that they can't explain it to me and through me from spirit. But just means
Absolutely.
I had to open my mind out of my own, own knowledge, out of my own memory bank that way.
And consciousness, absolutely.
Yes. So yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that reminds me of a client that I had probably about 6, maybe 8 weeks ago. And one of her father was working with her, and who is a communicator, and everything was progressing lovely. And suddenly he gave me the image of a carry-on film, and I don't know if you know the carry-on films in Denmark. They were in the 60s and early 70s, and they were typical humour of that time. I'm sure that those of my vintage that are listening at the moment, that are from the UK, will know about the carry-on films. And there were two. There was one actor, Sid James, and he was in my face, right here, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I've just been shown this, and she says, oh, that's my father's name, Sid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know anybody called Sid, other than that would be the point of reference. And I've worked with clients in the past that have had more unusual passings, like an aeroplane accident, and it took me a long time to get that, because it's such an unusual way of passing.
Yeah.
But now I've got it, I'll know it next time. So I think sometimes you only need to get a specific, when you reach it. I call it like reaching into the back of the cupboard. You open the door on the kitchen cupboard, and all the things that you use every day are right at the front, aren't they?
Yeah. And we all know that cupboard with the hidden things in the back.
Absolutely. Probably things that are a bit dusty and out of date and whatnot, and might have a fur coat on them, and but I feel that is mediumship. You've got to reach into it, and bring out what is there at the back, that beautiful information, evidence, memories of the loved one, but within that, allowing the communicator to take the lead as to what they wish to say. And if you don't understand something, it's okay, I didn't get that. Well, could you give it to me in another way, or tell me more about that friend? And and invite them to give it to you, rather than taking the lead and demanding of spirit, because just no. It's their time.
Yes.
So anyway, go on, I'll get off my soapbox now.
Not a problem, Nicola, and thank you for coming tonight. Just before we end, I will just put out a few notifications. First of all, lovely people out there, I can within the comments we have put in the link for the Psychic Center. If you're interested in looking into this minister thing that Nicola has just achieved, and the Association of Independent Ministers, the link is there as well. We can say tomorrow in church in Poole at 11 o'clock, there is the weekly service, and tomorrow it's with Craig O'Malley, and I believe it's probably Ian serving, I believe. I'm not sure of that, but Craig O'Malley will be the medium in church tomorrow. Here online tomorrow evening on Zoom. You can find the details on the page. There is the divine service on Zoom at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, and that is with the lovely Minister Nicola Shortland-Neal doing the philosophy that we have had on here tomorrow. And to do the mediumship tomorrow, we will have Lola Kiss-Keaton from Denmark. So you are in for a treat tomorrow, so please come and join. You have to cope with me as I'm a chairman tomorrow as well, but that's a part of the deal. So please come and join. And an exciting upcoming thing that we should promote a little bit tonight as well is the rally weekend, the spiritual rally weekend, and that's 4 days. In back end of May, the 24th to 27th of May, Friday to Monday. 4 really interesting days. There will be dems, both on the Friday. There will be a demonstration with I think it become to 4 or 5 mediums that evening, and again on the Monday there will be an experimental evening of mediumship. There will be a workshop on the Saturday, another workshop on the Monday. There will be sittings, and during the Sunday, beside from the morning service, all day there will be different speakers on, and there will be 4 different speakers from Scotland, Sweden, and Denmark during the day, and I believe it will all be streamed as well. But it is in church, so please come and join. There is details on the website where you can find and where you can book your seat for the day as well as for the workshops. So Nicola, thank you so very much for joining in this evening. I think it has been really interesting to hear a little bit about. We often hear this and this minister, but often we don't hear anything about what is it to be a minister. So thank you for sharing a little bit about that. I'm sure we will hear a lot more about it in the future there as well. I know you are located up Midlands, Stoke, I believe it is. Yes. So that's roughly 4 hours away from Poole.
I am. I'm in Crewe in Cheshire, so probably about 20 minutes away from Stoke-on-Trent. But yes, so probably about 4 hours from Poole, give or take.
Yeah. So so maybe we'll pop by there one of the times we're over. So
yes, absolutely. You're
welcome. Thank you so very much for this evening, for this hour that has gone now. Thank you, everybody out there. Just follow the church on the Facebook side, YouTube, Instagram, on our website, of course. There's all details of all upcoming events coming on. So thank you, everybody, and good night, and see you soon. Oh, by the way, in a week time, there's a new Lyceum. I'm not sure who is on there, but next week, same time, I'm sure Lawrence will be back there. So good night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
God bless.